The United States military has entered a state of crisis, and I'm not talking about California. I'm talking about the other coast. In North Carolina this week at Fort Bragg, Donald Trump, as Commander-in-Chief, came down and gave a speech in front of the 82nd Airborne. Now, it's not unusual for a president or a vice president to speak in front of the military. What is unusual is that these soldiers were screened for their partisan leaning. And add to that the additional context that civilian vendors were invited on base onto the Army's property to sell campaign merchandise. Now, there is a pretty explicit ban on political activities when wearing the uniform. However, now there are photos and videos of these MAGA loyalist U.S. Army soldiers in the 82nd standing in line and buying Trump merchandise. Things like credit cards on necklaces that say white privilege trumps everything. Now, at issue here is that Pete Hegseth, the Fox News commentator turned Secretary of Defense, is encouraging this kind of thing. And between the president's presence on this base and the use of the 82nd Airborne, which is a pretty elite unit, as the backdrop for a speech where Donald Trump is demonizing other Americans and talking about using force and liberating American cities from other Americans. Words like unprecedented and dangerous just don't do this issue, this problem, any justice. I am at a loss for words to explain how big of a problem this is. Now, I'm not going to do the hypothetical and say, what if Joe Biden or Barack Obama did X, Y, Z? How would the MAGA react? Because I know that they're immune to this kind of thing. And sure, there are examples of both of those presidents saying political things in front of troops that a lot of people thought were inappropriate. But when the chain of command in the U.S. Army is compromised and they are willing to break regulations and the law to satisfy the President of the United States, and to do it so openly and brazenly, and to leave a paper trail. So there is no plausible deniability here. The Trump administration has given comment to military.com, and they're dismissing this as if it's a non-issue. They're acknowledging, yes, we screened these troops for their political loyalties. They are trying to normalize authoritarianism. So look, I'm not here just to scare you about the partisan leanings of the U.S. military and what that means for all of our security as Americans. I'm here to tell you that you need to get organized locally. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christopher Goldsmith. I'm a former United States Army Sergeant, and I'm the founder of Task Force Butler Institute and Veterans Fighting Fascism. And this shirt says what we do. Now, Veterans Fighting Fascism on our website, it has an instruction manual on how you can start your own anti-fascist book club, and you can use that as a way to organize your friends, your family, colleagues, neighbors into a self-sufficient anti-fascist organization. Now, I'm not talking about like you going as far as having to start a nonprofit or anything. I'm talking about unincorporated entities that anyone can put together on their own. If you go to veteransfightingfascism.org, everything you need is there. You don't need me beyond that. I'm not asking for your donations. I'm just asking for you to get active on the ground locally, because when fascism shows up, it shows up in your backyard, and that's where you can do something about it. So start your own local anti-fascist book club and start getting prepared to participate in our democracy in the fullest extent possible. Because you can't wait on some politician to save you. You have to save yourself.